What's up, man? It's B&B Garage back with another video. Today, as you can tell by the title, we are throwing on some suspension work, guys. I'm super excited about this one, man. I've been dying to get this car a little lower. So yeah, I actually picked up some D2 Racing. So this is the box. I picked up some D2 Racing lowering springs. From what I can tell by all the reviews and everything on American Muscle, I actually bought these off somebody, but I was gonna order them from American Muscle, and then I found somebody have them on Marketplace, so I picked them up. But from what I can tell, it's a pretty decent drop. I think it's about 1.5 in the front and 1.8 in the back. It's a pretty aggressive drop for the price of the spring. But yeah, man, I'm super excited to get these on. Let me show you guys the springs. But this is one of the fronts and one of the rears. Like I said, I'm super excited. It's a fairly lengthy process. I'm just working by myself today, so hopefully we can get it to work. But here we go, man. I'm gonna walk through it with you guys, and yeah, let's get this done, man. I'm super excited about this. So this is actually how the car sits right now. It's got a pretty decent stance. All Mustangs come with a decent stance, man. I mean, such an aggressive looking car. But I do want to get a little lower, man. I am thinking about putting a front splitter on it. And hopefully getting some spacers here soon. I got to replace the rear tires, so I am thinking about getting some wider tires in the rear anyway. But yeah, man, let's get right into it. Let's get it jacked up. All right, so we got it all jacked up, sitting on our jack stands. Always use your jack stands, guys, because anything can happen. I do leave the jack in there too, but you don't absolutely have to. Now we're gonna work on getting this off. I already loosened it a little bit. It's a 15-inch socket. There's one. There's our second one. I'm gonna go set it down somewhere safe. So after a long and crazy fight, finally got these bolts out. They're actually press fitted, which, like I was saying, so they were a freaking terror to get out of there. And then it just lowered this knuckle. I took the sway bar link off. So now what we're gonna do is come from the top. You see some people. Beautiful. And we are going to reuse this boot, so we need this boot. Now let's work on getting the spring compressor ready and the new spring on. Alright guys, so we just ran into some crazy stuff. As you can see, I'm in a different outfit. So the day that I was starting these, once I got everything out and I was getting ready to get the new springs in, I noticed that those springs that I had from Marketplace were actually for S550 Mustangs, and yeah, so they wouldn't fit. So I ended up having to order them, and I went through some crazy stuff, man. So now they're here. They just got here. So I'm gonna get ready to. I think the last thing I showed y'all was getting the whole strut out and everything. Spring came off. We're gonna get ready to compress the spring, put it on the strut, and slide that strut back in, and then start reassembling. And then we'll hop to the other side. So let's go ahead and get that tool. I got the tool from AutoZone. I'm gonna go grab it, and then yeah, we'll get started. Okay, so this is the new spring we're gonna be working with. Look at that difference on that spring, man. This is a very aggressive drop, and like I said, for the price range that it's in, man, it's a really good drop. So I'm really looking forward to getting this reset on. So we're gonna go out with the old. We're gonna start getting ready to get this one compressed. Let's see. Our boot stays on. I'm just gonna go right in this one, and it almost compresses itself, guys. It's actually really crazy. But let's set this down really quick. And like I said, we're gonna work on getting this compressed. I've actually never used the spring pressure before, so we'll see how it goes. I've seen people use them and stuff. For the most part, it looks like that's it. Alright guys, so I finally got the spring on after a freaking fight with these dang compressors. I actually did them like this because this wouldn't fit up against the little strut plate, and I ended up having to use a crescent wrench. So I was fighting it for a while, but we got the bolt in. Once we get these camber bolts in, then we're gonna have to torque this one down. That holds the actual whole thing together. So I'm gonna take you back over to the car, and we're gonna get on working this back in. So let's head that way. It looks really good. Looks good on that purple. So yeah, so we're gonna work on getting this back in the right way. Gonna use these three. Man, I have something about working without my shoes. It's weird, but let's see if I can't find it from here. No, I can't. I need some help. Oh, all right. So we're there up top. All right, I got those three hand tight. I'm gonna go grab the socket for that, and then we're gonna tighten those down. These are 15. I have 3/8. I have the Milwaukee 3/8 driver, but it's mainly just for like smaller stuff. So I use this 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter. And I find it a lot easier just to nail stuff in there. So we got the spring back in. Let's go ahead and, like I said, these are press fitted. So I'm gonna get this back in. Right there. And there. Trying to remember the size of these. I think I'm gonna have to go get it. Go through all that. Oh, need my adapter again. Nope, it's just spinning. So we're gonna get our crescent wrench in there. Nice and snug. Fire away. I need to look at the torque specs on that so we can get everything torqued down right, as well as these 3 bolts up top. And that's pretty much everything now. So here. Boom. Okay. Now we're gonna work on getting the rotor back on and caliper back on. So for the other side, I don't have any clamps to compress the brakes right now. My dad's gonna come drop some off here in a little bit. So for the meantime, I'm gonna work on getting all this taken apart, and so we can get the new spring out and the old spring out and new spring in. So when he gets here, we can just compress the brakes, throw them on, and we'll be ready to rock and roll, get started on the rear. So yeah, I'm just gonna speed through this and we'll get it done. Alright guys, front's done. We got everything down. I forgot to record this side, but we got this side in. See if you can see it. I don't think you can see it from the rear. Oh, you might be able to. A little bit, you see that purple in there, but we got this side done. We're working on getting this side here. So I'm gonna set it up right here. I already got the tire off. Just gonna work on, actually. So we gotta take these two strut bolts off here, and then the brake line, and there's bolts to the subframe down there and one right there. So we're gonna work on getting that down, and then you'll see us throwing in that new spring. Yeah, it's one big bolt. I don't have the reducer. Shit. And then there's gonna be two 13s up on that same bracket. that whole bracket. And then we're gonna take this brake line off. And we're gonna use an 18 to take these strut bolts out. Alright. And then we got one more of these bolts that go to the subframe. Way up in here. We got the jack sitting on the subframe. Dad's gonna go ahead and drop it down. Nice and easy.
Drop it?
Yeah, go for it. And you're gonna see it dropping. That spring's gonna separate from it completely. You always want to jack before you do this so that way your subframe doesn't just drop down. So it's nice and slow, it's starting to come down. Here it comes. And that spring's gonna be real free. There it is. Is that all the way?
It should be good.
Alright, so there's that old one. We're gonna use the same damper right here. Just make sure it lines up. Pop it back in. The new one goes in. And then there's one at the bottom too that you're gonna want to line up, and then we can start jacking it back up.
You want to get that shock in or no?
We'll get the shock in when you go up. Alright, so the mistake I made earlier, we just bolted the subframe before we bolted the shock. So now we're gonna get ready to bolt the shock. He's gonna jack it all the way up. Keep going.
Keep going?
Not right there. Alright, so we're there. Shock bolts are in. Now we're gonna get ready to run these subframe bolts back in. Go back with this plate. Actually, let's do the 13s first. One more 13, so it's gonna be that brake line. And guys, the rear is so much easier than the front. Dropping the subframe does sound a little scary, but once you got your help, it's a lot easier. So, boom, and then that's it. We're gonna throw the tire back on, and we're gonna torque everything up, get the tire back on, drop it down, and then I'll give you all a look at what it's like. Alright guys, we just finished up the install. Got it off the jack stands. Just getting some of the chucks out real quick. If I have to move it. But yeah, man, it came out super good. The process wasn't too bad. Like I said, the biggest deal was those wrong springs, but it does sit and fill out that wheel well really nice. Looks good. I'm looking forward to getting some spacers here. Probably front and rear, but I also am thinking about putting some 305s in the back. That might fill it out a little more than the spacers. But that drop looks really good, man. And it still has an aggressive stance. It's not level at all. It looks really good. The rear looks good. But yeah, man, I'm super excited to see how it handles. I'll be getting alignment probably next week. But like I said, the install wasn't too crazy. But yeah, man, so that's that. It looks super clean. But yeah, like I said, it was probably, I would say if I had everything and I had to leave, if I didn't have to leave, I'd probably say about an hour and a half to 2 hour install. Get your help so you can drop that subframe a little easier and be a little more confident on it. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Like I said, a couple probably some spacers, a couple other things I want to get done. So looks like we beat the rain just in time. But I said thanks again. Like, subscribe, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think should come next. So appreciate it.